Dan dari sana I decided to take a career break. I'm like, oh, what do I really wanted to do, right? And that was like another turning point in my life.
Iya. Kenapa personal branding ini sangat penting?
I always wonder, right? Like, why people can actually get business dari media sosial gitu loh. I always wonder how.
Anda sedang runtuh, kehilangan pekerjaan, atau mengalami kegagalan, dan tidak tahu mau melangkah kemana. Rasa percaya diri pun ikut melayang. Anda tidak sendirian. Anda tahu Jack Ma? Jack Ma pernah melamar pekerjaan berkali-kali, mungkin 30 kali, pernah melamar di KFC, dan tidak berhasil, tidak ada yang menerimanya. Dan siapa menyangka bahwa Jack Ma bisa mendirikan Alibaba dan menjadi salah satu pengusaha yang paling sukses di dunia. Kali ini saya ditemani oleh Ratna Juwita, seorang personal branding coach di Singapura yang dulu pernah gagal, tapi bangkit dan tampil gemilang di bawah tekanan. Mari kita sambut Ratna Juwita.
Makasih
Ratna.
banget. Makasih banget Dr. Tony for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Ratna dari Indonesia ya?
Iya.
Gimana ceritanya kok bisa sampai di Singapura?
Iya, jadi waktu itu saya ke Singapura pas abis lulus SMA. Terus untuk kuliah di salah satu universitas di Singapura kan ya. And dari sana ya kita kan kayak sebagai orang Indo tuh kayak nggak gitu bisa ngomong Inggris. Lancar gitu ya. And I was struggling a lot to even speak English kan. And I always make a joke now. Dulu struggling banget buat ngomong Inggris kan. Sekarang tuh struggling buat ngomong bahasa Indo.
Dulu kuliah di mana?
Dulu kuliah di SIM, Singapore Institute of Management. Ya.
And ngambil apa?
Ngambil business.
Bisnis.
Yes.
Oke, jadi sudah di Singapura berapa lama?
Udah dari 2006, so udah almost 19 years. Yes.
Dan setelah ngambil bisnis di SIM, terus kerja apa? Atau kerja sendiri atau kerja ikut orang?
Ya, jadi abis lulus dari SIM, so aku join training and consulting firm. Kayak doing lebih marketing, business development kind of role kan. Dari sana sebenarnya aku tuh kayak lumayan berintentional untuk join kayak training and education firm. Soalnya aku punya passion in the training and consulting side, right? Jadi waktu dulu pas SMA aku tuh pernah attend satu training. Aku lupa sih training apa. Cuman training itu tuh kayak berinspirasi sekali ya, dan aku bilang to myself, I want to be like her one day, right? But kayak
ada orang training di SMA waktu kamu SMA?
Yes, ya.
Oke.
Jadi dari sana tuh aku kayak punya interest untuk pursuing to be like a
inspired to be
a
like
trainer or
person,
teacher kan ya, iya.
Okay.
Tapi pursuing mimpi itu tuh sangat not easy, right? Soalnya waktu SD aku tuh pernah pas ujian akhir tuh ya, aku tuh disuruh kayak kita tuh ada English oral test kan ya. Kita tuh disuruh baca puisi, and I actually work very hard before the exam. Dan pas examnya itu tuh aku tuh kayak panik banget gitu loh. And tiba-tiba tuh kayak ngeblank semua. And I cannot even recall one word, right? And because of that, I actually gagal ujian dong ya. And dari sana, it developed like a traumatic experience of public speaking. Ya, and dari sana setiap kali aku harus ngomong di depan umum, aku tuh selalu ingat insiden itu gitu loh. And dari sana, aku tuh nggak bisa present well. And it
Okay.
was really very bad to the extent that it affected my self-esteem. Dan aku tuh punya ada this kind of like feeling of like imposter syndrome, kayak aku tuh not good enough kind of thing, right? And it was challenging, right? And because of that affected my growing up. Jadi kayak kurang pede,
Iya,
nggak bisa.
Mirip-mirip sama aku lah.
Iya.
Kurang pede.
Oh, okay.
Kalau speak in front of public, very nervous.
Iya.
Gitu kan.
Iya.
Oke. Terus setelah kerja di company training and development,
Iya.
berapa tahun?
Dari sana tuh kayak sekitar 3 tahun. Dan dari kerjaan itu juga aku it was really pushing me out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
Soalnya dulu tuh aku disuruh doing a lot of like presentation kan. Soalnya suruh promote the training programs kan ya.
Yeah.
And then dari sana aku juga mulai untuk melatih diri untuk bisa speak in public dong ya.
Training berarti kamu harus speak in public
Iya.
dong. Training in front of people.
Iya.
Okay.
Jadi aku dari sana aku tuh join namanya Toastmasters Club.
Oh, okay.
Public Speaking Club.
Yeah.
Yeah. And dari Toastmasters Club itu, it helps me to build my self-confidence. It also helps me to overcome my fear of public speaking. Ya. Dan nggak cuman itu juga, waktu itu tuh I was being introduced sama teman on this practice called mindfulness, meditation practice.
Okay.
And dari sana aku tuh benar-benar membantu banget untuk mengatasi anxiety setiap kali mau speak in public. Right? Yeah. So that was really very, very helpful. Right. And dari sana, interestingnya di Toastmaster itu juga aku kayak started, join kayak public speaking competition kan. I won competition after competition, and that really helps me a lot in building my confidence, right?
Okay.
And dari sana juga my friend, my Toastmasters friend juga kayak ngeliat, oh wow, I see like your transformation, right? Dari dulu tuh kayak malu-malu, sekarang tuh kayak like, oh, you can win public speaking competition and all that. Terus dari sana temanku invited me untuk run like a workshops, right, on how mindfulness practice or meditation practice bisa membantu saya untuk mengatasi anxiety dan juga helping me to basically build my confidence, right?
Okay.
So that's how it got started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dalam pekerjaan ya, what are the challenges that you have? The most challenging thing that you have faced pada pekerjaan di Singapura?
Oh wow, I think firstly is really understanding the kayak apa namanya, culture-nya, budayanya kan beda banget kan ya. Working with Singaporean and dari like as in Indonesian, it was like such a big adjustment kan ya. Kayak dari cara kerja, dari apa sih namanya, the way to even communicate juga kan ya. I still remember dulu waktu pas aku mulai kerja di Singapura ya, I actually faced like workplace bully, kayak dibully
di Singapura.
Iya, kayak they will tell me like, oh wow, you are like your English is not good, right? You cannot make it here, like she is Indonesian, she's so slow, right? Yeah, so it was really quite bad lah.
Dibully ya.
Iya, makanya dari sana juga aku kayak develop the feeling of like imposter syndrome, the feeling of like, oh, I'm actually not good enough to be able to even work in Singapore, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Itu berapa tahun setelah you start working?
It was like maybe about 3-4 years. Dari
3-4 tahun setelah starting working, dibully atau 3 tahun tuh dibully terus?
Oh enggak lah, like in between.
In between, on and off.
Yeah.
Terus?
And so it was kayak nggak unpleasant experience lah. Yeah. Sometimes I also wonder like, am I even like fit in Singapore? Like that kind of like feeling of misfit, because like I'm not Singaporean, and
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'm, can work here or can even thrive in Singapore, right? Yeah. So
Same
there
as
is
me.
really, yeah. Oh,
I
tell me
think most of
more.
people from Indonesia will feel like that because karena di sini sangat kompetitif dan
Yeah.
they work at a very high level
Very much, yeah.
gitu ya. Tapi what is the turning point di dalam hidupmu yang membuat kamu berubah dulu ikut orang terus sekarang you do everything yourself?
Right. I think the turning point was kayak waktu in 2018. I was being retrenched. And that particular episode tuh kayak bener-bener like on my face, right? Like, oh wow, that was so real and so painful. And it questioned a lot of all this self-worth also, right? And jadi the turning point was that during my, pas 2018 tuh aku tuh kayak kena retrench.
Yeah.
And that episode also, like brought like a painful memories dan also a big reflection point gitu lah, kayak like no matter how good you can be, you are dispensable, right?
Yes.
And because of that, then I started to be more intentional in really looking at my life and my career, right?
Yeah,
About like what do I really wanted to do and to be in the next 5 to 10 years or even longer, right? And I think from dari sana juga aku lebih kayak intentional buat building my own
Okay.
personal brand.
Before you go further,
Yeah.
bagi kalian yang mungkin punya pertanyaan atau komentar, silahkan tulis di kolom komentar. Oke? Dipecat Ratna, dipecat dari pekerjaan tiba-tiba. Kalau aku, ya, I will feel very stressed.
Yeah.
Ya. Bukanlah sesuatu yang mudah, apalagi kita tinggal di Singapura, biaya mahal. Oke, kadang masalah ini bisa menghancurkan kita, ya, benar kan? Tapi kadang masalah ini membuat kita lebih kreatif dan berpikir ulang tentang hidup kita, take different course, and then membuat hidup kita menjadi lebih baik atau merubah arah hidup kita ke sesuatu yang sangat berbeda.
Yeah.
Pada waktu kamu di retrench, dipecat, apa yang kamu pikirkan?
So waktu pas kejadian itu kan benar-benar kayak ini banget sih ya, kayak it got me to think deeper about what I really wanted to have for my life and career. Dan dari sana juga aku juga lebih kayak benar-benar planning gitu loh. What do I really wanted for the next 5 to 10 years further down, right? How do I want to see my life in Singapore, right? And dari sana juga aku mulai kayak lebih planning buat kayak aku lagi waktu itu juga kayak reaching out ke teman-teman network yang aku punya untuk like, hey, is there any
Kerjaan.
job kayak iya benar.
Jadi cari kerjaan lagi.
Cari kerjaan lagi. Iya, dari sana juga aku apart from cari kerjaan lagi, aku juga kayak mulai kayak side hustle gitu loh. Mulai training, mulai training. Dan dari sana juga aku menemukan kayak passion in the education and training space ya. Dan dari sana I started doing training as a side hustle, dan dari sana juga berkembang trainingnya kan, dan dari sana juga kayak aku lebih ke building my skills and strengths into that area juga. Dan that side hustle sekarang berkembang jadi my main hustle now.
Oke. What is the turning point? Karena pertama kamu ingin cari kerjaan kan?
Yeah.
Kok bisa very confident doing it yourself gitu?
Oh, okay.
What is the
Actually,
turning point?
Enggak, kalau waktu itu masih continue kerja dulu kan. Terus udah
Continue.
gitu,
Setelah di retrench itu kamu dapat kerjaan lagi?
iya,
Oh, I
dapat
see.
kerjaan lagi dan aku waktu itu kerja di universitas aku dulu yang sekolah. Iya. Doing career development. And dari sana aku juga kayak membantu kayak international students untuk get their careers in Singapore dan juga how can they build a life and career di Singapura juga gitu. Dan apart from that also aku juga membangun my own side hustle training in the areas of well-being, mindfulness, stress management. Iya. Jadi sebenarnya nggak langsung sih. Jadi aku ada build my side hustle dan juga doing my full-time job also. Yeah.
Okay. Then after certain point, kamu tinggalkan full time job and do entrepreneurship.
Sebenarnya dari sana abis my last job, I actually had burnout.
Okay.
Ya waktu itu.
Jadi waktu itu you do full time job and do this
Yeah.
thing yourself.
Yes.
Burnout. Yeah.
And
Burnout. Which one? Burnout. The full time job or
actually the full-time job, honestly.
Full-time job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soalnya kan waktu itu during COVID kan, so we have like aku dapat kayak additional work that is a lot more overwhelming lah. Jadi aku cannot cope and it was lumayan parah banget sih ya waktu itu ya. To the extent that I see doctors like sering banget gitu loh.
Stress.
Terus stres banget dan I fall sick very frequently and all that lah. Dan dari sana I decided to take a career break. And then dari sana juga kayak I'm like, oh, what do I really wanted to do, right? And that was like another turning point in my life.
Yeah.
That I decided that I really wanted to pursue education and training.
Education and training.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan dari sana aku started to actually register my company.
Okay.
Right.
Dulu sebelum itu you never register ya?
Nggak pernah. Ya.
Terus?
Kayak iseng-iseng aja gitu loh. Iya.
Terus company ini bekerja dalam bidang apa?
Company ini di dalam bidang training dan development.
Training
Dan
and development.
Yeah, so we basically do corporate training,
Okay.
and coaching in the areas of kayak leadership, team development, personal branding,
Team development, personal branding ya.
and
Okay.
well-being too.
Aku ingin explore personal branding ya.
Yeah, sure.
Tapi sebelumnya bagi penonton yang belum subscribe, bisa subscribe dan bisa like juga dan share video ini ke teman-teman yang lain. Nggak banyak orang yang tahu tentang personal branding. Zaman sekarang cuman kerja keras kayaknya nggak cukup ya.
Iya, benar banget.
Kamu harus terlihat. You need to be visible.
Yeah.
Dan visible di zaman now is visible in social media. Agree?
Very much.
Terus inilah peranmu sebagai personal branding coach to bring the person more visible gitu. Kenapa personal branding ini sangat penting?
Ya kayak tadi Dr. Tony bilang kan, in this competitive job market kita juga not only to work hard, right?
Yeah.
Tapi kita harus bisa visible so that kayak people can recognize our values too,
Yeah.
right? And I think because of that, personal branding itu sangat penting banget ya untuk bagaimana membangun personal branding so that we can actually showcase our values to the people that we wanted to attract. Yeah, it can be our career opportunities, promotion. It can also be like a business opportunities. Yeah.
Apa yang membuatmu tertarik kepada personal branding coaching?
Okay, that's interesting. Aku sering banget dapat pertanyaan ini kan ya. Cuman honestly, sebenarnya tuh aku nggak pernah thinking about building personal brand kan. Terus jadi sebenarnya ceritanya kayak gini. Jadi pas aku shifted dari my career break untuk membangun my own training and coaching business, itu tuh kan challenging banget kan ya.
Yep.
And my only focus back then, it was just only one.
Apa itu?
Cari makan dong.
Oh, iya.
Jadi kita harus practical dong ya. I mean we run business, we need to have client and leads also, right? And dari sana tuh kayak bener-bener kayak survival instinct banget kan ya. And I was like, I need to get clients and business for my business, right? And dari sana tuh aku started buat sharing on social media kan, untuk menarik my ideal clients, right? To be able to be more visible also. Dan sebenarnya waktu pas aku mulai juga, itu tuh I always wonder, right? Like, why people can actually get business dari media sosial gitu loh. I always wonder how, right? How content marketing can actually helps people to bring leads, right? And that's always at the back of my mind kan ya. Dan juga dari sana I give myself a chance, right, untuk mengeksplor what is this content marketing is all about kan. Dari sana aku mulai nulis, kayak sharing pengalaman aku, sharing experience about like my struggles of like public speaking, coming to Singapore, and went through kayak workplace bully, retrenchment, burnout kan. Dari sana tuh and I leverage LinkedIn as a platform back then ya, karena I saw that that's where my audience are, right? Corporate training segala macam kan. So dari sana tuh interestingly tulisan kayak writing post aku itu tuh kayak went viral. Ya,
aku kayaknya perlu belajar LinkedIn dari kamu. Oke, terus.
Yeah. So it was kayak I still remember my very first viral post tuh kayak sekitar 600 likes gitu.
Wow.
And I never get that kind of likes kan. And it was like, oh wow, what's happening here, right? And interestingly, aku tuh started getting a lot of leads from my LinkedIn platform. Right, and people started reaching out like, hey, can you do a training for my company, right? And that's how it got started. Terus interestingnya, as I get like leads dari social media kan, terus inquiry yang come, it was like coming in the form of like, hey Ratna, kamu bisa gak sih ngajarin aku gimana cara kamu build your own personal brand so that I can also build my own personal brand to attract leads.
Oke. Jadi kamu waktu itu you don't purposely build your personal brand.
Yes.
Tapi akhirnya dari apa yang kamu kerjakan actually ternyata kamu build your personal brand.
Exactly,
gitu.
ya. Jadi dari sana tuh interesting banget kan ya, ceritanya tuh kayak bener-bener I actually not very intentionally, but somehow it really grows my following, my audience juga. And dari sana juga attract leads about, can you teach me about personal branding kan? So it was interesting. I've never really thought of even doing that ya. Dan dari sana juga, I still remember back then kan ya, I actually sell my personal branding coach, Ching, without even having one.
What do you mean?
Ya, so jadi waktu itu ada satu prospek kan, like come to me and then I mean this person mau aku coaching dia on personal branding. And I don't have a personal branding coaching back then, but
you haven't never had personal branding coaching for yourself.
As in like gitu? Program. Aku nggak ada personal branding program. Nggak pernah, dan juga aku tuh nggak ada sebenarnya personal branding program gitu loh. Aku nggak offer.
Sekarang kamu over.
Sekarang aku over. Tapi waktu pertama kali itu, jadi ada prospek yang come to me untuk mau bantu dia untuk build his personal brand.
Oke,
Right.
oke.
And dari sana juga, aku tuh dulu nggak punya personal branding program gitu. Cuman as a self-starter, I just say yes lah.
Oke. Desperate Desperate instinct.
Not desperate, yes, but it was just a survival instinct, right?
Survival instinct.
And interestingly juga aku kan harus bertanggung jawab dong ya
Yeah,
dengan klien yang wanted to invest in their personal brand. So dari sana aku mulai untuk mendesain kayak sistem, proses, framework about how aku tuh bisa did well in my personal brand through LinkedIn. So I created that
Sekarang
from scratch.
Sekarang masih do personal branding
Masih.
course,
Course
Oh,
dan juga
coach.
coaching.
So kamu melakukan course berarti di depan banyak orang,
Iya.
bagaimana caranya build personal
Yes.
branding.
Iya.
Terus nanti kalau orangnya tertarik, ya you do coach one
Yes,
on
that's
one
right.
gitu
Iya,
ya.
iya. So dari sana pas aku mulai membangun kayak kurikulum, sistem, proses, framework about building personal brand, dan my client juga following through the process, and my clients juga bisa kayak ngeliat transformasinya gitu loh.
Oke.
Dari sana mereka juga kayak can get promotion, bisa
Oke.
dapat leads dari social media, kan, dan juga terlihat lebih visible gitu di tempat
Iya,
kerja,
iya.
kan. Dan dari sana I replicate lah, jadi lebih banyak klien datang buat minta support in their personal branding as well. So that's how it got started, really.
Berapa sering lakukan ini course? Adain course.
Berapa
personal
sering
branding?
ya? Wow. Maybe a few times kayak per bulan.
Kamu ngadain kayak course gini terus you open for
Public,
registration
ya.
gitu atau you diundang?
Biasanya diundang sih.
Diundang, ya.
Iya, jadi klien bakalan ngundang saya. Kayak corporate training lah ya.
Next time we can do together.
Boleh.
Kamu
boleh.
sendirian atau
Apanya?
lakukan ini sendirian atau with few other people?
Oh, kali ini sih aku ada kerja bareng mentor aku sih.
Oh, oke.
Iya.
Berapa
Cuman
orang?
kalau misalnya untuk personal branding coaching, I do it on my own.
Oh, oke.
And I also curious kan, Dr. Tony juga kan kayak very apa sih namanya, being intentional in building your own personal brand
Actually,
as well.
not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, okay.
You
Now
grew
you
your
become my
followers
host.
to 800,000
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Enggak,
YouTube, right ya?
Pertama sebenarnya is like you. Tapi aku lebih ke ya coba-coba lah. Coba-coba, but it's long story. Waktu aku coba buat YouTube video, somebody actually ngomong sama aku, kamu harus buat YouTube video. Tapi aku sendiri nggak percaya kalau aku bisa, karena I don't like to talk in front of people.
Right.
Walaupun aku buat video sendiri di kamar sendiri, pakai kamera sendiri, nggak ada orang, aku bisa nervous, bisa gemeteran sendiri.
Iya.
Dan videonya jelek banget. Terus ya aku edit, belajar ngedit. Setelah beberapa video, kalau satu hari dapat 1 view atau 2 view, 1 subscriber, I was very happy. Suatu hari aku buat video tentang vitamin D dan gout, viral.
Oh, wow.
Setiap hari bisa subscribernya bisa naik 1.000.
Wow.
So that's how I was not intentional. Dan aku tidak pernah mikir diriku bisa seperti ini.
Right.
Begitu. But
Wow,
next time.
that's amazing.
Okay.
And you can get your YouTube apa ini?
YouTube
passing
silver.
100,000 YouTube.
Silver plus.
Yeah. That's amazing. I want to learn more from you.
Oke, lain kali.
Yeah.
in short ya, pentingnya personal branding itu apa?
Pentingnya personal branding is to help you to basically find your own voice and amplify your own voice because kita semua tuh punya personal brand gitu loh.
Yeah.
It's really about how do you take your own narratives about positioning yourself in such a way that people can actually see your values.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Jadi
Sendirian.
taking care of or taking charge of the narratives of your personal brand and how do you want to people to value you.
Oke.
Yeah.
Jadi tanpa personal branding, your capability atau kemampuanmu itu tidak terlihat gitu ya.
Iya.
Ini active effort untuk membuat kamu terlihat.
Yes, that's
Begitu
right.
ya.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think also in the process of kayak membangun our own personal brand also, even though maybe we talk so much about social media segala macam kan, it's actually a good platform untuk mengamplify our personal brand. But I think at the end of the day, it really also comes back to kayak ini kan ya, mengenali diri sendiri, self-awareness kan ya, understanding what is our strengths, our skills, our values, and how we can actually help people and, you know, make a positive impact in other people's life as well. And I think it really starts from us, right?
Yeah.
That self-awareness.
Oke.
Yeah.
Oke. Bagi kalian yang punya komentar atau pertanyaan tentang personal branding, silahkan tulis di kolom komentar. Oke. Sekarang kita ngomong tentang public speaking. Ya, ngomong di depan umum itu ada bagi seseorang, bagi orang-orang tertentu adalah sesuatu yang menakutkan. Bagiku juga. If you ask me to speak in front of public, I will be trembling. Menakutkan. Dan kamu Ratna sudah overcome dulu takut, sekarang maybe you enjoy speaking in front of many
Actually,
people
not
atau
really.
masih trembling atau gemeter?
Masih.
Oh, begitu.
Recently aku tuh di-invite untuk speak at MDRT, $1 Million Roundtable, Singapore.
Yeah.
Itu tuh kayak attendees-nya tuh 1,000 orang and mostly is for financial service industry
Yeah.
kan ya. Wah, 3 days before the actual event, I was like, I almost want to chicken out. You
Really?
know, like, yeah, it
Oh.
was like so overwhelming. And I kind of like, even though aku tuh kayak practice, latihan, segala macam, but public speaking is just not so natural to me, right? So it takes a lot of time and energy to even prepare for it, right? Even though it's only 30 minutes kan. Tapi itu tuh kayak bener-bener,
30 minutes is a long
I know.
long time.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was a nerve-wracking experience for sure.
Oke.
Yeah.
Bagi Ratna ya, ada nggak pengalaman public speaking yang memalukan?
Yang memalukan.
Memalukan.
Wow.
You are embarrassed.
I think it was that very first time yang aku waktu itu pas SD, aku tuh
Itu ya?
disuruh yang
Itu trauma.
itu.
Blank.
Itu tuh pas UAN kan ya, aku disuruh baca puisi and then tuh totally blank gitu. And that was really like wow. Itu tuh kayak malu-maluin banget gitu loh. And like I just cannot even say a single word gitu loh. And like teman-teman aku kayak sekelas kayak 30-40 orang like was like looking at me like what's happened to this girl, right? And itu tuh bener-bener kayak like wow. I don't know, man.
Oke,
It was
itu traumatic
traumatic
experience
banget,
ya,
traumatic
memalukan.
banget, iya.
But good that you can overcome.
Thank you.
Then-
And it's a lot of work.
Kalau dari segi personality, you describe dirimu sebagai extrovert atau introvert?
Actually, I am functional extrovert.
Functional extrovert maksudnya gimana?
Jadi, I can be extrovert if I have to.
Oke.
Kan? Tapi sebenarnya I really enjoy my own time, my own company.
Yeah,
Jadi
yeah.
aku sebenarnya lumayan introvert sih. Jadi
Yeah.
gara-gara kerjaan, because I need to interact with people
Yeah.
kan ya. So I need to learn how to be more extrovert gitu.
Ya,
Jadi so I am a trained extrovert.
oke. Biasanya kalau orang introvert kan gak suka public speaking, yang extrovert they enjoy looking forward to public speaking gitu kan. Sekarang seberapa besar peran dari public speaking ke personal branding?
Seberapa
Besar.
besar
Ya. Perannya
public
public speaking ke personal branding, to build your personal branding.
Actually, that's a good question. Very much, yeah. Jadi sebenarnya it's like a chicken and egg thing, right? Like so, sometimes you also need to build your personal brand. Jadi kita tuh bisa invite people to do public speaking, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time also, our kayak public speaking experience kan, it also helps us to build our personal brand as well, right? So it's like a
Chicken
you
and
know, yeah, it's interrelated. Satu bisa impact the other, and the other one also can impact the other way around. Yeah.
Singkat 3 tips untuk public speaking bagi orang yang demam panggung.
Demam panggung.
3 tips.
Okay. Wow. Okay. First, recognize the fear.
Ya.
Kayak fear and anxiety is very normal kan. I mean, every one of us kan juga pengen do well in our presentation kan.
Yeah.
Dan sebenarnya feeling itu tuh kayak it's very normal to have.
Okay.
Right. And I think the solution is to basically recognize that it's normal to feel fear and anxious
Nervous.
whenever kalau kita mau speak in public, right?
Yeah.
But don't get the feeling of fear and anxiety gets in the way.
Okay,
Because
okay.
actually sebenarnya kayak the feeling of fear or even anxious, right? It's kind of like similar like a feeling of excitement, right? And I think because of that, how can we shift the fear or anxiety into the feeling of excited?
Okay.
Right, that's the first one. And then the second one is to dari shifting the fear into anxiety into excitement. Other than that also jadi kayak being more present with the fear itself or the anxiety itself, because a lot of times our emotions kan sebenarnya memberikan signal-signal kepada kita gitu loh. Like how is this emotion is trying to tell us, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times the feeling of fear wanted to protect us from perceived danger or threat.
Okay.
Right. And I think when we started to be more at ease with the fear and listen to what is this emotion is trying to tell us, we feel a lot more at ease with the emotions. Yeah.
Okay.
And last but not least is to basically looking at the fear and anxiety as friends, right? Like like when we know a friend is feeling fear or anxious, we want to like, hey, it's okay, because I know that you want to do well, right? So it's
Yep.
really making friends with their fear and anxiety. Ya, jadi instead of like pushing it away, how can we make friends with them?
Okay.
So that it helps us in our performance.
Alright.
Yeah.
Oke, bagi kalian yang ada masalah dengan public speaking, nervous atau takut, tidak excited ke public speaking, kalau punya pertanyaan atau komentar silahkan tulis di kolom komentar. Kirana, hidup di Singapura bagi orang Indonesia, kerja maksud saya bukan holiday, bukanlah sesuatu yang mudah. Kompetisinya gede, orangnya kerjanya cepat, hidup mahal, makanan mahal sekarang,
Yeah.
dan kita bersaing dengan orang-orang di seluruh dunia itu ada di sini.
Yeah.
Ya, bukanlah sesuatu yang mudah, bisa stres. Dan untuk orang yang ingin bekerja di Singapura, apa saja yang perlu dipertimbangkan sebelum pindah untuk kerja di Singapura?
Okay. Wow, that's a big question ya. I think yang perlu dikonsiderasikan ya, the first one is kayak jangan takut untuk mulai dari nol. Kan
Iya.
ya, waktu itu pas aku pertama kali ke Singapura juga I hardly can speak English kan.
Iya, sama lah.
Iya.
I couldn't speak English at least as fast as people in Singapore.
Iya, ya. Dan itu juga perlu waktu untuk adjust kan ya.
Iya, benar.
But I think after all, if we want to grow, kita juga kan harus kayak keluar dari
Comfort
zona, yeah,
Zona
comfort
nyaman.
zones, right? Yeah. So never afraid of starting from zero. Dan juga kayak kan a lot of times kayak kita tuh selalu takut kalau apa sih namanya, we want perfection kan
Yep.
ya. I need to be perfect before I start, right? So I think it's also important buat kayak like, just start, like wherever you are.
You will never be perfect, right?
Exactly, right. I think it's always progress over perfection.
Yes.
Yeah, jadi always aim for growth and progress over like perfection, right? Yeah, and I think punya growth mindset juga helping us to be able to also being a better person as well.
Okay.
Yeah, dan juga I think, and the next one would be kayak think about like how can we network better? How can we expand our network just beyond just looking out for a job, right? But it's like how can we find people yang bisa membantu kita untuk take the next step of growth to where we wanted to be. Jadi kayak waktu aku mulai in my own personal journey, like in my career, I was actually lumayan aktif banget sih, kayak finding mentors, finding people that I can learn from, so that
Yeah.
it can help me to speed up my process,
Okay.
and like to go to where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Okay.
And then last but not least is to really think a long term, right? Not the short term, but like, in the next 5 to 10 years, right? How do I see myself doing di Singapura kan ya? Dari sana juga kita bisa plan our runway, nggak cuman in 1 to 3 years, but looking at the long term as well.
Oke.
Yeah.
Ada nggak kebiasaan atau mindset yang sering dimiliki oleh orang Indonesia yang harus dirubah supaya kita bisa bersaing di lingkungan yang sangat kompetitif seperti Singapura?
Okay.
Mindset atau kebiasaan. Misalnya di Indonesia, hidup di Indonesia sangat berbeda dengan hidup di
Yeah,
sini kan.
yeah.
Jadi mereka punya mindset atau kebiasaan tertentu karena hidupnya seperti itu.
Yeah.
Kalau kita pakai kebiasaan dan mindset seperti itu di Singapura, maybe we cannot survive. Tapi kebiasaan dan mindset yang bagaimana yang harus dirubah?
Kebiasaan yang harus diubah sih ya untuk orang Indo yang mau consider untuk ke Singapura. Kayak di Indo kan semuanya tuh gampang gitu loh ya. Everything is being provided, easy, convenient, segala macam. Ada mbak, ada
Iya.
apa aja lah ya tersedia gitu. Kalau di Singapura ya everything you also need to do on your own, right? As a start
fight
kan
yourself,
ya, fight for your own
For your own
freedom,
survival,
for
yeah.
your own future kan ya. And sometimes you need to take a lot of like uncomfortable step
Yeah.
to be able to get that kan ya di sini.
Orang tua juga nggak bisa membantu di sini.
Iya, makanya I still remember waktu pas aku mulai kayak shifted from being employed to starting my own business kan ya. Itu dulu mamaku tuh yang kayak like always like telepon gitu yang kayak, what are you doing ah? Kamu tuh ngapain ya? And for like buat mama papa tuh yang kayak kerja dari rumah tuh kayak like it's
Not
not
working.
working.
Pengangguran ya.
Pengangguran, you okay or not, right? Can leave or not,
Cari
right?
kerja sana, pergi.
Ya udah cari kerja
Keluar.
aja deh. Ngapain sih susah-susah gitu kan
Hmm.
ya. And it was so real, right? And kayak every day kayak aku tuh di question kayak gitu tuh kayak bener-bener like I also question myself, right? Can I really make it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it was like, wow, it takes kayak a lot of like grit and resilience untuk like really continue on my journey.
Ada nggak persiapan mental, finansial, skill sebelum ke Singapura?
Mental ya. Ya mentalnya harus baja
Kuat,
mental.
Oke.
Yeah. And I mean it's tough, right?
Yeah,
Kita
yeah.
juga harus compete dengan orang-orang lokal, orang-orang international talent juga. And
Yeah.
how do you know, like stand out from the rest, right? It's
Yeah.
requires kayak mental baja dong ya,
Yeah.
untuk membuat kita tuh kayak kuat dalam tekanan-tekanan, and sometimes it's like really very stressful. Yeah.
Gimana kalau financial preparation?
Wah, okay.
Sebelum ke sini.
Sebelum ke sini ya. Ya, really need to prepare lah ya. Karena apa, di sini kan mahal dong
semua
ya,
mahal.
semuanya mahal. And I think it's very very important.
What about skill?
Skill banget.
Apa yang di prepare?
Skill, I think bahasa itu penting banget kan ya. Itu like kemana-mana harus you can speak English well, right?
Yeah.
Dulu pas sebelum aku kesini juga aku ngambil kayak bahasa Inggris, kayak apa sih, IELTS, right? IELTS test and learning English also. But I think nothing beats really speaking English in the foreign country,
Yeah.
right? Because you are being forced to even speak that, right?
Yeah.
Dan juga kayak hard skill and soft skills juga. Kayak hard skills lebih kayak technical skills gitu kan. Depending dari bidang-bidang yang kamu pengen pursue di kerjaan kan. Dan juga soft skills kayak communication skills, interpersonal skills, being able to adjust better di Singapura.
Being adaptable.
Yes.
Gitu ya.
Yeah.
Oke, jadi itu tadi tips dari Ratna. Kalau kalian pengen kerja di Singapura, big reward but also big risk.
Yes.
Banyak orang mulai dari nol, jatuh bangun, coba ini coba itu, gagal, dan sampai akhirnya perlahan-lahan bisa berhasil seperti Ratna. Seringkali yang kita lihat adalah saat sudah berhasil. Kita nggak lihat untuk mencapai ke sana itu banyak hal yang perlu dilakukan dan prosesnya itu nggak gampang. From zero to hero, penuh pengorbanan. 3 tips lagi yang harus dilakukan saat seseorang berada di titik nol.
Okay. Pertama tuh harus embrace failure kan ya. Sebenarnya kayak banyak orang tuh we don't want to face failure because it's like hard, right?
Hard and difficult.
Iya.
Malu.
And I think I feel failure is really part of the journey kan.
Yeah.
Kalau misalnya kita nggak coba, nggak lihat gagal gitu, and how can we improve, right? So really embrace failure as part of the journey.
Yeah.
Right. Then the second one is to invest in yourself, in our personal growth, in our professional growth, because the biggest investment I have in my life is really an investment in myself.
Yeah.
Jadi kayak take up courses, sertifikasi, you also take times for learning kan ya, untuk develop our skills, our capabilities kan ya, dan juga seeking for mentors as well.
Okay.
Ya, soalnya mentors
Mentor is very important.
Very important, that will help us to
Yeah.
speedy up the process, right? And I think last but not least is untuk mengelilingi our environment with a positive tribe, right? So
Yep.
the people, the friends, the mentors as well that can really help us in supporting us into achieving our goals juga. I think it's very, very important.
Oke. Kadang-kadang gagal di titik nol, sudah coba ini itu tapi tidak berhasil, gagal lagi, keadaan tidak berubah.
Yeah.
Dan ini kadang-kadang juga bisa membuat rasa percaya diri itu drop.
Yeah.
Ya. Dan pertanyaan saya, bagaimana cara untuk tetap percaya diri dan tetap fokus kepada tujuan saat mengalami kegagalan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so real kan ya
Ya.
itu.
It can happen.
Banget. And every time, right?
Yeah.
When we start something, failure is bound to happen,
Yeah.
right? And I think firstly, it's really about kayak reframing failure as a learning process, kan ya. Kalau misalnya kita nggak gagal, kita tuh nggak bisa belajar untuk menemukan jalan bagaimana kita bisa improve in our life, right? So I think about reframing the narratives about failure, right? It's just part of the stepping stones into our success, right?
Rasa percaya diri drop.
Yeah.
Semakin gagal lagi, semakin drop.
Yep.
Dan kita mau ke sana gagal terus atau berubah. Jadi tujuan orang tuh jadi kayak membingungkan nih. Mau ke sana orang jadi bingung gitu.
Yeah.
Gimana supaya terus fokus kepada tujuan?
Firstly kayak kita harus ini sih ya, membangun kepercayaan diri dalam diri kita sendiri gitu. Karena a lot of times the trust we have in ourselves is the one that will help us to move forward kan. Kadang kita juga kalau menghadapi kegagalan kan kayak kayak loyo gitu ya, kayak sedih banget gitu ya. And how can we pick ourselves up again to run again gitu kan ya. That's the reason why kayak self-confidence and trusting in ourselves is so super important. Dan juga kayak punya mentors, punya orang-orang yang bisa membantu kita untuk membangun lagi gitu loh.
Untuk bangun lagi.
Iya, jadi I think environments and mentors are very important di perjalanan ini juga.
Oke, itu tadi tips dari Ratna kalau Anda berada di titik nol. Bagaimana cara kita tetap percaya diri dan tetap fokus, nggak gagal fokus, tetap fokus kepada tujuan utama. Apa buku pertama yang mengubah cara pandangmu?
Atomic Habits. Buku tentang bagaimana kita bisa mengembangkan habit that lasts, right? Because a lot of times our habit shape who we are, right?
Satu kebiasaan yang berdampak besar pada sukses di hidupmu.
Meditasi.
Kalau lagi down, apa yang pertama kamu lakukan?
Meditasi.
Oke.
Really.
Right. Siapa orang pertama yang kamu cari kalau ada masalah?
Mentor aku. Iya.
Oke. Satu skill apa yang wajib kamu miliki untuk bangkit dari nol?
Skills resilience.
Resilience.
Punya mental baja.
Oke. Hal pertama yang kamu tinggalkan biar bisa lebih maju.
Procrastination.
Right. Procrastination. Satu kata yang menggambarkan dirimu sebagai personal brand. Grounded. Wow.
Yes.
Platform favorit untuk bangun personal branding.
LinkedIn dong.
Wah, LinkedIn. Wah, I need to learn from you. Personal brand dimulai dari penampilan, kata-kata, atau tindakan. Mana yang paling penting? Tindakan.
Action speaks louder than
word.
Yes.
Oke. Kalimat andalanmu saat memperkenalkan diri untuk public speaking?
I help people to shine at work and in life.
Wow.
Yes.
Tepuk tangan untuk Ratna
Thank
Jimita.
you. Makasih Dr. Tony.
Ratna, terima kasih banyak atas kehadiranmu di podcast ini.
Yeah.
Sebelum kita akhiri, ada nggak take home message singkat dan jelas?
Oke.
Silakan.
Nggak apa-apa mulai dari nol. Yang penting tuh nggak berhenti di jalan. Because karena dari proses itulah kita bisa belajar dan kita juga bisa bersinar.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great advice. Untuk kamu yang sedang berjuang di dalam hidup, baik itu lagi belajar, membangun karir, atau bangkit dari kegagalan. Semoga podcast ini bisa membantumu kembali percaya diri dan mendapatkan harapan baru menuju ke masa depan yang lebih gemilang. Kita harus akhiri podcast ini sampai di sini. Jangan lupa subscribe, like, dan share. Terima kasih sudah menonton dan sampai jumpa di podcast berikutnya. Bye-bye.